What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Hold on. You can tell this is a live podcast. Forgot to turn my radio station down over here because I just came off the air. Just so you know, us and Willie Moore Jr. won't be talking all together because he comes on right after me. But welcome back to the podcast of Faithfully Speaking with me, Melissa Wade in the Water, where we take topics of conversation and concerns and issues and questions, and we share them in a good, positive, honest, and loving way. So we are here today to recognize today. Did y'all know today is International Self-Care Day? Yes. That means we're supposed to recognize that we're supposed to take care of ourselves. Do you do it? You know what? I'm stepping all over my toes because I don't. And that's why I decided this would be a great topic for us to bring somebody on who can elaborate, who can maybe push us and say, hey, look, this is what you need to do. This is why it's important and all this other wonderful stuff. So I want to introduce y'all to one of my friends, one of my longtime friends. She is an international self-care just guru. Okay. She is the owner of Bliss Face and Body Studio. She is a licensed esthetician. She's a makeup artist, a communication strategist, an actress, a singer, a former radio personality. The list just goes on and on and on. She's helped out those great women such as Pastor Shirley Caesar, national gospel recording artist Jessica Reedy, others that she has, kind of pampered, so to speak, Miss Yolanda Adams, our founder, Miss Kathy Hughes, and she is now, in 2015, she opened up her own business, which we are highlighting on another platform, Bliss Beauty Bar virtually, and introducing it to the world. So many wonderful things. Actually, I'm going to bring her on and let her tell you more about this awesome business and to tell us a little bit more of how we can take care of ourselves. International Self-Care Day. Meme Cowans, how you doing?
Yeah! I feel like there should be like a sound effect.
We all
Thank
need
you,
that.
Melissa. Oh my gosh, what an awesome way to kick off this day that I didn't even know existed. So I thank you for telling me about International Self-Care Day.
We go and we look for stuff, and I'm like, okay, Monday's coming up. What are we going to talk about? We've already talked about schools. We talked about affirmative action. Let's go and let's talk about a little something that deals specifically with each and every person, maybe in a different way. And that's how we take care of ourselves. We always say, going to take some time to relate, relax, and release.
Mm-hmm.
But we seldomly do it.
But do we do it?
When we do, how do we do it? Why is it important? So I'm coming to you with all of these questions. Before we get started, I gave you a small introduction. Can you just give us a little bit more of your background and everything that you do?
So, okay, first of all, you covered almost everything, but and I don't really know much more to add. One tiny correction: didn't do Yolanda Adams makeup. Did my dear friend Yolanda Rabin?
Oh, Yolanda Rabin. Okay. Maybe that was a
don't
typo.
Want Yolanda Adams people call and talk about she
didn't do makeup. Yeah.
But yeah, you pretty much covered it all. I mean, my background started in broadcast news. I was a broadcast journalist. I was a news producer. Started out in Chicago on the desk as a lowly desk clerk, running scripts back and forth to the newsrooms, and then launched my producing career in Lincoln, Nebraska, one of the coldest places on earth, I might add, that I've ever stayed in my entire life. But I got my start there and kind of got my feet wet and traveled market to market. And then 12 years later, ended up here in Raleigh, rounded out my career here. And then from there, I became a media spokeswoman for the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. I was there for 12 years. So I kind of flipped the coin. I went from, kind of telling folks, what they should be knowing about. Like, that's my definition of news. What are people talking about, or what people should be talking about? So I went from writing all night to flipping the coin and then pitching those stories to news outlets, and worked at a fabulous institution, loved working at the museum. And then I went back to college and got my master's degree in strategic communications and decided to work in the nonprofit industrial sector. Started working for an organization called Blueprint, which is a progressive leaning nonpartisan nonprofit. But underneath all of that, always my passion projects. You know me as an actress. You and I have shared the stage together. You've directed me. I've acted alongside you. You've coached me. We worked together at the Light, 103.9 FM. I've always had my feet in the arts.
Yeah.
And God has really blessed me to be able to, for my passions to not butt into each other. He made room for my gifts. If it was a time where I had a bunch of rehearsals for a show, my makeup jobs would kind of taper off. Then when I wasn't on stage, they pick back up. So I've been doing makeup now. So people know me in different arenas, right? So I've been doing makeup here for almost 25 years. I was at MAC for about 17 years. And so makeup artistry was always a part of me, but I knew that there was more. And I always knew that I wanted to be a spa owner. So a year after getting my master's degree from American University, I said, let me go back to school and do another degree. And I found an amazing program that happened to work in conjunction with a busy working professionals schedule. And I graduated from Elevate Salon Institute a year after I got my master's. But during that time, I was always planning, what is the next move concerning taking my beauty-based business from in here in my heart to out there. And then I don't know what got into me. I guess COVID. During a global pandemic, I decided to join the population of the Great Resignation and left my predictable paycheck and my six-figure salary and said, I'm getting ready to do this. And let me tell you something, entrepreneurship is not for the weak. I have grown tremendously. I've learned a lot. But one of the biggest things that I came to hear a lot about, and I think you did too, during the pandemic was this notion of self-care. Self-care. So everybody was into self-care because we were stuck at home.
Exactly. We had more time at home. Yeah.
We couldn't go nowhere. People's eyebrows was bushy. All the men, their beards was growing in. His hair was everybody started trying to do stuff on their own. And a lot of people started, learning their internal COVID, what do they call it?
Talents.
Their COVID talent. Folk learn how to braid hair. But through it all, we needed to do something to not go crazy, to not go cuckoo for cocoa. But I'll never forget, people were calling me like, Mimi, I think I just waxed the skin off my lip. What do I do? Stop. That's what you do. Just stop.
Yeah. We have got to stop that. That's not caring for yourself. I'm not sure what that's called.
But I'm not going to listen. Nothing beats a failure but a try. I ain't going to knock it. I'm not going to knock you for trying to get the hair off your lip, but there is a way to do it. Okay. Absolutely. And so during COVID, I opened my passion project. I left my predictable paycheck behind and I opened Bliss. And when I tell you, Melissa, I'm humbled every day that I walk into the door of my business, because in my first year, I'd say my first year and a half, we had over 1,000 customers come through the doors of Bliss, and over 55% of them are return customers.
That's awesome.
Which means that they are prioritizing self-care too.
That's good.
They're realizing that it's important. But you know what? And I know that today is International Self-Care Day. I'm going to just go on and define it, because everybody's like, they use it so
much. That was going to be my first question. I was going to try and jump in there. I was like double dutch. I'm going to jump in and say, hey, let's see if we can ask her a question or two, because we have so many people that are joining in right now and they're thinking, they're hearing you. And yes, like you said, those thousands of customers that came through, it says, hey, look, it's important for me to take care of me. My first question to you is, why is self-care important? Why is it important?
Well, it's important for your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. It's important for that reason. So you gotta do it. I mean, because otherwise there's no balance in your life. And if you work yourself to a tizzy, ultimately your health is going to suffer for it. So you have to prioritize taking care of you. And unfortunately, women that look like me and you
Yeah,
don't
we don't.
do it enough. Um, because we're too busy supporting spouses. We're too busy supporting children.
Okay.
We're too busy supporting the job. We're too busy supporting the church. We're too busy supporting everything else.
Yeah.
And then no one is there left to support us.
Yeah.
Or that's at least how we feel. There
So
are
you,
people out
yeah,
there to support us, but we don't lean into that because we got capes on our we
at least we think we do.
we think we got a big old
Yeah.
superwoman cape on our back. And
Why,
that is a whole lie. You got to take care of you.
why do you think we hesitate so badly, though? I mean, I know what my answer is for me of why I hesitate, but why do you think that we hesitate? I mean, you just said, the advantages of it is if we don't, we end up, our health suffers because of it, our social lives suffer because of it. But why do we hesitate when we know that if we stop and set aside some time, and how do we set aside that time, that it can be so beneficial to us?
Well, to answer your first question, the reason we don't do it is because we bought into a lie a long time ago that said we can't show emotion. If we show our vulnerabilities, then we're weak. We can't cry. Girl, work through it. It'll be all right, girl. Get over it. Move through it. Okay, yeah, girl.
Be
So
strong.
be strong. So what? He cheated, girl. Whatever. Dust it off your back. Move forward. Okay, girl. So what? You got fired, girl. Dust it off your back. You got mouths to feed, girl. You got things to do. You can't the things that cause trauma in our lives deserve the time that it takes in order to heal from them.
I like that. Yeah,
If you don't take the time to heal, then it's just going to compound, right? So it's
Pastor,
going to stay
absolutely.
stuck right here. And
Mhm.
then every time you go and work through it, or so you think you did, it's right here. So then when the next boom, the next thing hit, it's here comes something else. Then here comes something else. And then next thing you know, a stroke then hit. And
Right.
folk be like, where did stroke come from? We thought she was the picture of health because she was inside. There was so much stress inside of her that her blood pressure was out of control. She wasn't eating right. Okay. So her sugar levels were out of control. She wasn't exercising. So that stagnation was causing her body to set up a campground for disease. And many of us won't go get an annual checkup.
Right.
And we can no longer use the excuse that I ain't got the time. Yes, you do. Because if you don't make the time, your health is going to suffer for it. And potentially your family will suffer for it when you're no longer here with us.
Right. So you've mentioned those several things. You say, you don't have time to exercise. You don't have time to, find time to take a vacation. What would you describe, or how can we differentiate the difference between, self-care? Is it exercise, or is it me taking that vacation, or is it both? Is it a compilation of all of it?
It is both and. You want to know what self-care is? Even just saying no to somebody is self-care.
Mm,
If you are a people pleaser and you don't know how to say the word no to protect your peace and establish boundaries in your life, saying no is a form of self-care.
I like
Getting up away from that Zoom meeting and or after it has ended and you got maybe two more left, but you got 30-45 minutes between the next meeting, going outside and walking around your block is self-care.
Somebody just mentioned that to me the other day. Melissa, take a little while and go outside and walk.
Mhm.
And just the other day, I did not find time to go outside
Mhm.
and walk.
Mhm.
And now you saying it again to me is God saying, hey, look,
Confirmation.
yes, it's confirmation. Absolutely confirmation.
Absolutely. And I mean, and it doesn't just stop with the physical, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know where this misnomer came up that we don't need therapy. We, Jesus and me just fine. The Lord created doctors and practitioners and clinicians for a reason. All of us were created on this earth for relationship and to serve one another. And there is nowhere in the Bible that says you can't go get you a therapist. Because honestly, the combination of Jesus, prayer, and therapy is what saved my life through 2020. I went through a lot. And all of us did, okay?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
everybody's story is unique to them. But
Different.
you got to prioritize. When your world is on fire, you got to prioritize finding the water. You got to prioritize finding the water, okay? Otherwise, you're going to be consumed by that fire. And I'm not talking about the fire that we, consuming fire.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
talking about the fire that's going to burn you up before it's all said and done. And, if you are in a place where you've contemplated suicide, where you've been depressed, where you have felt so alone and down, and you need professional help to get you through that. You may not always have to depend on professional help forever, okay? But there's nothing wrong with seeking out a good therapist to help you to, and that is also a form of self-care. So we're talking about your physical health, we're talking about your mental health, okay? We're talking about your spiritual health. You got to pray.
Yeah.
I don't know how other folk do it, but it's hard enough when you're a Christian. So I don't know how you don't profess Christ out here in this world. You gotta pray. And how about this? Just meditate. Take 5 minutes of your morning when you get up and sit in silence. Be in a reflective mood of gratitude daily. You got to do all of that. So there's a spiritual component, a physical component, and an emotional component. And you have to also guard the people that are around you. You have to, girl. Do you have fruit flies everywhere in your house?
No.
Fruit flies, okay, and the heat. We're gonna talk about the heat being disrespectful, okay? But anyway, but the fruit flies. But no, you gotta guard your ear gate, your eye gate, and you gotta guard who's in your presence.
Right.
If there are people around you who drain the life out of you, putting some distance between you and that person is self-care.
It seems to be a broad definition of this whole self-care thing. But as you mentioned, women like us, and we're just gonna be transparent, African American women. For me, that whole self-care seems selfish. How do we get out of that whole thing of, well, when I take care of me, then I'm taking, what I can do for others, especially, my kids, my family, my husband, and the little time that I have, giving it to myself seems selfish to me. And so it puts us back into that whole thing of why we hesitate to make time for ourselves.
So Black women are unique in the way that we are oftentimes dealing with societal pressures that no other race of women deal with.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. It is scientifically proven. It's the truth. Okay. So when you're dealing with societal pressures that are unique to us, sexism, colorism, discrimination, and then you have to like hold all of that and go to your Fortune 500 job or your blue collar job because it exists socioeconomically, the gambit. I don't care if you make it $300,000 a year or $20,000 a year. Those societal pressures that Black women deal with are the same, okay? And they weigh down. They weigh you down, which also impacts your health in ways, okay? Because there are disparities that we are predisposed to that other races are not. So when you take that into consideration, all right, And then on top of that, many of us are the only one. We're the only in our family. If we're successful, sometimes that means that you're the one, you're the rich auntie. You're the one everybody call on. You're the one everybody has to put out the fire. You're the caregiver. You're the one that's overseeing the care for mama. You have the world on your shoulders. So if you don't take care of you, it will crumble and fall. And I hate to make it sound like that we're just, but the pressure can feel very insurmountable, but it's not hopeless. A part of who we are is our resilience and our strength. I'm not knocking that. We can handle a lot, but we don't have to all the time.
Right.
We have to be able to push and delegate some of that off onto other siblings, other people in the family, other co-workers, okay? Other people who can shoulder some of the responsibility. So you can take a week and go to Cabo. So you can take a staycation. You can take a staycation in the great city of Raleigh. Go to a hotel and make it feel like you've gone somewhere out of the state. But you gotta do it. Book your massages. I started today off with a massage.
Oh, wow.
I celebrated my International Self-Care Day with a massage, and it was the best thing I could have ever done because I also have MS. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a disease that affects you neurologically, you're going to, I may look, like I got it all together, but there are some days where I am in excruciating pain. Okay, fruit fly. There are some days when I am in excruciating pain, right?
Right.
And so
Mm-hmm.
if I don't get up and I get on that floor and I start doing my stretches and my yoga and my, my exercise to kind of like work those limbs and get myself together, then it's going to be a bad day for me. You got to prioritize it, because if you don't, your health will suffer, your mental well-being will suffer, and honestly, the people around you will suffer.
Yeah.
You're going to take it out on somebody that you love, and that's not fair to them.
So on this International Self-Care Day, how do we begin? Because I kind of see what you're saying and through our conversation, in that, putting yourself first when you need to, it's for some of us a lifestyle change. It's kind of like, going on a diet. You got to change your lifestyle, or else you're just going to do it one time and then you're going to get right back to being burnt again. And, so it's, how do we get ourselves or hold each other accountable?
You see these little computers we walk around with every day?
Yes.
Okay. So my whole world is in here.
Yes.
As is everybody else's whole world is in here. If I don't consult 3 calendars first before I make a decision to do something, I'll be done overbook myself and double and triple book myself. And that's not a story that's unique to me. That story is everybody's story, because we all walk around here a slave to these cell phones. Okay. But inside of everybody's cell phone is a calendar.
And you can put it on the calendar, doesn't mean you're going to do it. So how do we how do we push ourselves to say, hey, look, I mean, do we make an appointment and pay for that massage where you say, you know what, I paid for it, I'm going to go get it done?
But you know what, Melissa, there's some people who are not incentivized by money either. Some people be like, yeah, I put that deposit down and that $50, but I ain't going. And they'll throw $50 away. Like it starts with you making you have to make a decision that is important to you. And you know what? Somebody told me something a long time ago. Get you a Post-it note. Get you a bunch of them and write on these Post-it notes. There we go. Look at that. See, you got the Post-it notes right there on your desk.
I do.
Take on every Post-it note, write down on each Post-it note something that's very important to you. And I mean very important to you, like your heart, like your baby, like your man, like your children, like your whatever, like your upcoming birthday, like this outfit, whatever it is. Write down. I don't care if you got 50 Post-it notes on your mirror in your bathroom by the time you're done with this exercise. But write down what's important to you, that if you were not here,
Mm.
The thing on that post-it note would suffer. Whatever would suffer by your presence not being around, write it down. And then put it somewhere where you can look at it every day. And then make the appointment. Put it in your calendar. There are some people who, if they put it in their calendar, they're not going to do it. But if it's on my calendar, I'm going to do it. If it's on my calendar, first and foremost, it was prioritized enough to even make it on the calendar. So put it on the calendar and then circle it. And then put some money on it. Say, you know what? I'm gonna call your Bliss Face and Body Studio and say, Mimi, I want to book a facial and I want a yoni steam. And you know what? I'm gonna prepay for this because this is how important it is to me. And I want to do it on this day at this time. And I'm gonna block out 2 hours so that I can be unbothered by people. Can I do that? Yes, you can. You can do that. What's 2 hours out of a whole month? Come on now.
Yeah.
Who can't find 2 hours out of a whole month?
I'll put my hand down. Okay.
Like the legend of Ricky Bobby.
Girl, I can sleep around them 2 hours. But I can sleep on your chair while you massage my face.
You sure can. And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because sleep is important too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not getting enough sleep, your body isn't healing. If you're not getting enough sleep, your brain isn't going to be able to function well.
Right.
Sleep is important, and it also shows up on your face. If you don't get enough sleep, you're going to have bags all the way down here and be like, Mimi, can you make them go away? No, sleep can. Sleep and water. Drinking plenty of water. Got to get that water in. Yeah. You got to get that water in. If you're not hydrated, you're going to hurt. Did you know that back pain was directly correlated to dehydration?
Wow. No, I did not.
Mm-hmm. And then you got a lot of Black women too who are dealing with hyperpigmentation and coming to me saying, how do we make this go away? You can't. Hyperpigmentation is not curable. Hyperpigmentation, we can reduce the appearance of hyperpigmentation. Okay. But then what's happening, especially to a lot of women at midlife, once they hit about 45, 50 years old, they're starting to see changes in their body that they've never seen before. And a lot of that shows up on their skin. And they're wondering, why am I 45, 50 years old and I'm all of a sudden faced with adult onset acne? Mm-hmm. Well, what's your diet like? There's a direct correlation between acne and constipation.
Woo.
Is your gut toxic? Mm-hmm. If you're not going daily, yes, it is. That's the answer. Wow. So you got to, this thing right here that God blessed us with is called a temple.
Absolutely.
We got to take care of it.
And if we don't take care of it, not only can we not take care of ourselves, those that we love, God can't use us, okay? Can't use you the way he need to use you unless we take care of ourselves. And it's got all to do with self-care, this being International Self-Care Day. Mimi, as we wrap up, I know you offer so many different services. You've mentioned some of them that you got this morning. Give us some ideas of things that we can do really quickly, because I think we only have maybe 10 more minutes. Some ideas that maybe we can do to self-care for ourselves. So those that relax us, exercising, exercising, doing your appointments. I want to know some relaxing things like you just said. Mimi, can I come over there and get me a face?
Yes, come on over to the People's Bliss Face and Body Studio, okay? I mean, we offer an array. We're a holistic wellness spa, okay? And I say that because we're not to be confused with a med spa or a day spa. It's not a stuffy environment at Bliss. It is a professional environment, okay? But we know how to relax and allow you a platform where you have fun and feel like it's an experience, okay? So you come in and you get your experience, and then you want to come back for more, because that's how my team makes you feel. And I have 4 amazing estheticians, 1 additional body contour specialist outside of myself, and we have fun at Bliss. Anyone that's ever been there says, oh my God, those girls are amazing. And so it is important to take care of the largest organ on your body. So our aesthetics menu is full. And I'm talking about sugaring, because we specialize in sugar services instead of waxing. Now, yes, we do wax. We're not knocking waxing, but we've successfully educated women to the benefits of sugaring as a form of hair removal instead of waxing, okay? Which removes hair from the root, which decreases the appearance of hyperpigmentation. So we probably do more sugar Brazilians than we do waxes. Facials, it's important to make sure that you have a professional esthetician perform a facial on you once a month, in addition to your night and day skincare regimen. And if you don't have a night and day skincare regimen, come on to Bliss. We'll show you how to do that. And in honor of self-care day, you inspired me to push this out further. And so for the entire week at Bliss, all of our Bliss facials are $45. So we want to celebrate you, but we want to educate you in the process as well. We also do back facials. Those are great for the men. Okay. We also do a full array of men's waxing. Okay. We also do yoni steaming, which is the yoni is also the female. I don't know if I can say the V word here on this platform.
Okay, we got it. We got it. Okay,
yeah.
we got
it. Yoni steaming, and then we also do body contouring. So we do it all at Bliss, and I'm so proud to announce that we're getting ready to introduce a brand new service, and it's going to debut on my birthday on August 6th. So we're now introducing permanent makeup at Bliss. We're going to be doing microblading, micro shading, and nano brows, partnered with Natalie Guillory of Princessa Salon and Permanent Makeup Studio. So that's a great partnership I'm very excited about. So we're doing a lot. And those are ways that you can come over and lay down, be pampered, and feel great, feel like a princess when you leave, look like a queen, go out with your girlfriends. You can even come as a group, do a yoni party, come together. So we have a lot of that as well.
Okay, so as we wrap up, how do we follow you? I'm sure you're there on social media. Well, I know you are, and your whole contact information.
Absolutely. You can find us on all social media platforms at Bliss Face and Body. Again, that's at Bliss Face and Body. And you can book us online through our website at blissfaceandbody.com. I'm just really excited about what the rest of the year holds. I've got some really cool things coming up. I'm getting ready to be in another show in September. We're going to be doing Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And then, yes, I am Ma Rainey. Oh my gosh, with Pure Life Theater. And then I'm getting ready to launch my book. So it's a self-care book on August the 20th. You'll be able to download it and you'll find out more about that on August the 20th when I have my Spa Tank premiere. Last year I shot a reality TV show. So the Spa Tank premiere viewing is also going to be on the 20th at Life Worship Center here in Raleigh. So all kinds of things going on.
Good. Meme Cowans, thank you so very much. Right on time for your self-care book on International Self-Care Day, y'all. Share this podcast with your family, your friends, your sister girls. Yes, we definitely need this. We need to encourage one another to take care of ourselves, to take care of each other. We are our brothers and our sisters keepers. So you know what? Just as Mimi's going to remind me, hey, Melissa, you need to come on in and pamper yourself today. And I'll travel on down there and hang out with her. No matter where you go, the most important thing is to take care of you. God has given us who we are and only one of us. So we have to take care of that. And he's also given us the knowledge to be able to do so, and people just like Mimi to help us as well. So again, thank you, my sister. I truly appreciate you hanging out with us today on Faithfully Speaking.
Thank you for this opportunity, Melissa. I appreciate it so much.
All right, y'all, wrapping up another wonderful podcast, Faithfully Speaking, talking about topics and issues, just, in a positive light and in a wonderful way, and always with children of God. We are all children of the Most High King, and by all means, we have the victory through anything and all circumstances. So God bless you. I love you. Until next time, grace and peace.